knows a lot about the science stuff. Professor Dave explains.
Let's look back at our chordate cladogram. Like the mammals of clade Synapsida, reptiles are also part of the clade Amniota, meaning they produce amniotic eggs, have thicker and more waterproof skin, and share all other amniotic characteristics. Note that the reptiles split from the mammals in that they are considered to be part of clade Sauropsida, the sister clade to Synapsida. Looking at this cladogram, you've probably already noticed that the clade Reptilia is actually paraphyletic, in that it includes the lepidosaurs, the lizards, snakes, and tuatara, testudinata, the turtles, and most of the archosaurs, the crocodiles and dinosaurs, but it excludes the birds. This classification is so famously paraphyletic that it was actually included in an earlier tutorial where we covered the differences between monophyly, paraphyly, and polyphyly. It is safe to say that in terms of evolutionary history at least, birds are reptiles, but remember that in this same context, all vertebrates are also fish. Otherwise, the term fish is paraphyletic, much like reptile. So dolphins, crocodiles, snakes, and birds are fish, but so are humans. Likewise, birds are reptiles. The point to be made here is that these evolutionary classifications aren't always helpful when describing morphology. So for the remainder of this series, when you hear reptiles, remember that we are typically describing the non-avian reptiles, that is, the classical definition of the paraphyletic clade, class Reptilia, that includes all members of Sauropsida except the birds. In order to explore them best, we will go over their evolutionary history, followed by their shared characteristics, behaviors and cognition, ecological roles, and finally a brief exploration of their extant forms. In order to study reptilian evolution, we have to go back to the emergence of the amniotes and the subsequent split of the sauropsids from their synapsid sister clade. During the Carboniferous period, a clade of animals known as the reptilomorphs, or reptile-like amphibians, began to diversify, and some of their descendants gave rise to the daughter clade of stem amniotes, or stem reptiles, which further diversified into synapsids, captorinids, mesosaurs, and other parareptiles or near reptiles, and the early diapsids. Of these groups, the synapsids, descendants of which would eventually become modern mammals, appear to be the first to dominate the terrestrial landscape, though it is possible that their dominance is overstated. Regardless, during the Permian, the stem diapsids began to diversify, and we see the emergence of the plesiosaurs, early testudines, descendants of which would go on to become the modern turtles, ichthyosaurs, lepidosaurs that diversified through the Mesozoic and Cenozoic to become modern snakes and lizards, and the archosaurs, which include the extinct theakodonts and pterosaurs, the ancestors of crocodilians and their modern descendants, and the dinosaurs, which are often split into the entirely extinct bird-hipped ornithischians and the lizard-hipped saurischians, from which the modern birds evolved. Note how long ago this split is. In terms of evolutionary time, this means the crocodiles are more closely related to the birds than any other extant reptiles, and the turtles may be extremely distantly related to all other reptiles. All reptiles are, like the mammals and birds, bilaterally symmetrical, amniotic tetrapods that lack larval stages. Though at first glance, some reptiles, especially some squamates, somewhat resemble the caudotan amphibians, they are actually more related to mammals than amphibians, even though the two clades, reptiles and amphibians, are often grouped together as herps. As a clade, the reptiles are most often distinguished from other amniotes due to their keratinized epidermal scales, more sedentary lifestyle when compared to many birds and mammals, and ability to lay eggs, known as oviparity, though some squamates, like the vipers, give birth to live young, and some of which, like the eastern copperhead, can even reproduce parthenogenetically without the need for fertilization. Reptiles are also noted for being ectothermic, meaning they must externally regulate their body temperature since they are unable to regulate it internally like the endothermic birds and mammals. They have a skull with one occipital condyle, unlike the amphibians and synapsids that have two, a lower jaw composed of several bones, and kinetic or movable skulls in the squamates. Their teeth, when present, are usually homodont, meaning they all have a similar function and shape, compared to the heterodont mammals. They are also polyphyodont, meaning they can be replaced many times, though in one order, the turtles, they are entirely absent. Their middle ears are comprised of a single bone, and sexes are almost always separate, though often not very dimorphic, unlike the well-noted sexual dimorphism of the mammals and birds. The reptiles have no larval stages, unlike the amphibians, and use lungs for respiration, though some species, like the marine turtles, can supplement gas exchange with the cloaca and pharynx. Their circulatory system is similar to that of mammals, but their red blood cells are nucleated, their pulmonary and systemic circuits are often incompletely separated, and most species have a 3-chambered rather than 4-chambered heart, except for the crocodilians. Unlike the often extremely social mammals, most reptiles are solitary and only seek out members of their species during mating seasons. Though reptilian brains are well developed, with an expanded cerebrum and 12 pairs of cranial nerves, they are often considered to be less intelligent than mammals and birds due to the fact that their average encephalization quotient, or brain size relative to the body, is about 1/10 that of the average mammal, though this varies by species, in that some of the larger reptiles do demonstrate complex brain development. Regardless, all reptiles are considered to be sentient, and many species, such as the shingleback skink, are capable of complex behaviors, including play. Many turtles, especially sea turtles, are capable of detailed navigation to their breeding grounds, and some crocodilians have been found to have a complex system of hierarchy in their basking sites. Ecologically, many species of reptiles are mesopredators, or medium-sized, middle-level predators, with an intermediate place on many food webs and trophic pyramids. Some are specialist hunters, such as the desert horned lizard, that preys almost entirely upon ants, while many others, such as the common house gecko, tokay gecko, painted turtle, and eastern garter snake, are generalists that will prey on almost any animal small enough for them to eat. Still others, such as the marine iguana, green iguana, and eastern box turtles, are primarily or entirely herbivorous. Most reptiles are preyed upon by other reptiles, mammals, and birds, but some are large enough to compete with mammals and others for the title of apex predator, such as the saltwater crocodile and Komodo dragon, which are often or always the dominant predators throughout their range. However, most modern reptiles are small and do not reach the sizes of these Goliaths. In terms of living reptiles, excluding the birds, there are only 4 extant orders. They are Squamata, which includes the lizards, snakes, and worm lizards; Testudines, or the turtles; Rhynchocephalia, which includes the Tuatara and its extinct relatives; and Crocodilia, which includes the true crocodiles, alligators, caiman, gharial, and false gharial. However, there's a lot of diversity to examine here, especially in Squamata. But before we explore that diversity, we have to take a look at their body systems. So let's move forward and do that now.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more tutorials. Support me on Patreon so I can keep making content. And as always, feel free to email me, ProfessorDaveExplains@gmail.com.